I don't identify as British, so please don't refer to me, any media or anyone online, as British, because I identify as Korean. That's just my culture, that's my home country, that's exactly where I live.
Oh, Korean Jesus is back. Yes, sir. What happens when you combine a weeaboo, too much money, BTS standing, and plastic surgery gone wrong? That's correct. You get Oli London. Wow. Good guess. Now, I don't know if you guys have heard of this dude, but his name is Oli London. Actually, I shouldn't say his name. I should say Korea's name, because guess what? He identifies as Korean now. I don't know if that's his gender. I don't know if that's just, he just wants that to be his ethnicity. He also identifies as JIMIN from BTS, which I didn't even know was possible. I didn't know you could identify as someone else. In that case, I don't need ID. I can just walk around calling myself Denzel Washington. What I'm trying to say is that Oli London has been changing the game recently, and in the process, ruffling a few feathers. Needless to say, the people of Korea don't seem to want to accept this man, and not only Korea, just the people on the internet are kind of like, what the hell is this? So today I wanted to take a little deep dive into Oli London, now professing himself to be a Korean ethnicity BTS person? I don't know. Also, hello, what's up you big babies? It's me, 16leo. But from now on, you guys have to refer to me as Tiger Woods Usain Bolt Leo, man. Yep, from now on my ethnicity is now Chinese, and also I'm Jamaican. So, oh, is that not Jamaican any sense to you? Well, then it should. Respect my authority, okay? So I don't know if I need to explain this, but this comes off as a little insensitive. Just liking a country so much that you adopt its traits. And it's a very touchy subject when you adopt one's culture, especially when you're not from that place. Like for instance, okay, say you're a white man, okay, and you like rapping and you like Kendrick Lamar and he's from Compton. Great. One thing to buy his album and support him, another thing to start wearing do-rags and grills going all over Compton with your pants sagging low. I don't know if you want to be flashing those street colors right now, dude. So adopting one's culture without actually being within the culture sometimes provokes people. And I don't know if it should, I don't know if it shouldn't. I'm on the fence with this one. But what I can tell you is that Oli London takes it to the next level by not only adopting the culture, but by coming out as Korean. Now you're not just offending Korean culture, now you're offending everybody else who had to come out as actual thing, not like Korean. So there seems to be a bounty on Oli London's head, and I thought we'd take a look at some of the videos today. But before we do, look at my sign. It stands for Saudi Arabia, which is where I come from. It's actually, I'm coming out as from Saudi Arabia from now on. So I hope that you subscribe, which I just came out as. So now you should subscribe. While you're at it, do follow me at 16leo_ on Instagram and give me any ideas there for the next video. This video is actually sent to me by someone, so thank you so much for that video. I feel like I should actually take people's names down so I can put it at the bottom of the video if I do your ideal. I'm gonna start doing that, I think. Okay, so the first video Oli London released with his new Korean ethnicity is called Being Korean, and it was released on the 27th of June this year.
Hey guys, I just want to take this chance to, come out today. Something that's been like...
I just want to say that I would not be making fun of how he looks at all. Jokes. He looks like Floyd Mayweather beat him up at a street fight. What the hell? Man, cosmetic surgery makes you look pretty, but before it does, it makes you look hideous, huh? I always thought I had like a ugly face, so I wanted to get like cosmetic surgery, but then I'm like, hey, there's some advantages. People cross the street when they see me. That's pretty cool.
Been very, very confused. And, I've seen a lot of other people online that have come out and been very brave about it and shared their story about how they identify, their gender, their pronouns, etc. So...
Yes, but that's very different, though. That's very different. Now, when you're born in the wrong body and you feel like you need to live your life as something else... it is brave, and it's there's a lot of stuff there that's different to being like, man, I ate a wonton soup yesterday, I'm gonna be Chinese for the rest of my life. I don't know if that's the same as like gender preference or living your life feeling like you're in the wrong body. If you want to feel more Korean, Korea.
You know, I've taken courage from these incredibly brave people, and it is Pride Month at the moment, so, you know, I thought this was the best time to do it. You know, and add a voice, add strength to the LGBTQ+I. I've just had a facelift, a brow lift, a temple lift.
Ah, it looks like someone lifted your face, alright. I don't know what that is. I'm sorry, Oli London, but you look great before. Maybe you just needed better friends to tell you that there's nothing wrong with how you look. Now, there's a couple things wrong. I feel like if we went to the beach and you decided to have a staring contest with the sun, my friend Oli London would turn into my friend Oli Puddle. It's a shiny face you have. It's a really shiny face. It looks like you went to KFC and did this. You just did that to the chicken and then came, sat down and was like, Korean.
I know a lot of people don't understand me, but I do identify as Korean.
I'm not laughing. What? Why would I laugh at that? He came out as JIMIN. That's hella dope, bro. Hey man, how you doing, Leo? Oh, that's not my name right now, okay? My pronouns are Terry Crews and also Angelina Jolie, because she's sexy. So that's what you have to call me. Terry Crews Angelina Jolie. 16leo. Don't wear it out. But seriously, call me that. My pronouns are Korean. That would be like me saying my pronoun is South Africa. How is that a pronoun? That's the country that you like. It's not even the country where you were born.
I do feel Korean. I don't identify as British, so please don't refer to me, any media or anyone online, as British, because I identify as Korean. That's just my culture. That's my home country. That's exactly how I look now. Listen,
I know you don't want to be identified as British in any way. Here's my suggestion to you, bro. Lose the accent. I'm a Korean man, okay? You don't know what you're talking about, bruv. I'm a Korean man. You can't be doing that. People are gonna be like, whoa. Is everybody here from Korea? Or is this not London? Where the fuck did I travel to? Can you imagine sitting down with a Scottish person? He's like, hello there, I'm a Scottish person. I'm so sorry. And then you look at him and you're like, hey, Seamus, is Scotland lice? And he's like, I don't know, I'm Jamaican. It would be very confusing, okay? You have to at least give us a little hint.
I've finally had the courage. I've undergone my racial, can't think of the word.
Oh, that's because there is no word. There's no such thing as a racial surgery. You think they can do racial surgery? I'd like to be a white man. I want to go to the KFC drive-thru and be like, hey man, give me a 6-piece chicken, coleslaw, make that spicy. And then have the people look at me like, but you're white. You want spice. I want to do it.
I identify with the Korean culture. I've lived in Korea, I speak the language, I have the Korean look now, I look completely Korean.
That is an insult to Korea. I just want to say that's an insult to all of Korea, South and North, somehow. No, you don't look Korean. You look like a, how do I say this nicely? You look like a train wreck that got resurrected and then wrecked again. You don't look Korean. You look like the, hey, I want Korean, and the mom's like, oh, we have Korean at home. That, okay, I'm sorry, again. If I didn't know who you were and you walked up to me and you're like, I'm Oli London, Korean, I would call 911 and be like, how are you guys doing? No, I'm good. I think that we need help on the boulevard of broken dreams, obviously.
No one's done this before, but I just want to take the brave step to, you know, do this, because I'm sure there's many other young people out there that do identify as Korean or maybe as Japanese.
Yes! The Japanese people and the Korean people, they identify as that. Because they are. I can identify as South African, because I am. I can also identify as a Kiwi, because I am that too. I absolutely can't identify as Jamaican. I can't do that. I feel like you're missing the point, bro. I know it's probably very hard for you. You're confused, and it's really sad if anybody's like bullying you, genuinely not wanting the best for you. But this is not the best for you. You need to be happy in your own skin. I don't know whose you've took, but this is not the Silence of the Lambs anymore. You have to get back down to reality and be happy with Oli London, not Oli JIMIN. That's not you. That's him. And you are not a him, you're a country, apparently. You need to dial it down to first a city, then a town, then a household, a residence, a family, and then you. You need to get to that.
You know, people online, like YouTubers, they always say, oh, he does things for attention. Like, nobody would do this for attention. Nobody would go through this much pain, this much suffering. I've had 18 surgeries in total for the last 8 years. Nobody would do that to themselves for attention. Like,
now, guys, that is true. Nobody would go through that much pain just for attention. They would, however, put it on YouTube and make it public so that anyone could see it. Because that would be attention. So... Oli! I got you, bro. Sorry, man. Korea vs. South Africa. Once again, South Africa wins. Has that ever been a competition? Nope.
Always do what makes you happy in life. This is my message. This is my motto. Be who you want to be. You know, love who you want to love.
Okay, don't love who you want to love. I've seen people say that and then go to jail for that. So don't do that. Some of the stuff he's saying is not completely right. You know, do what you love. Some people love arson. Don't do that. Don't do that. I know that you love it. Don't do it. It's illegal. You know, he's got the right mindset. He's a bit too unhinged, which is weird to say looking at that. But, you know, within reason, do what you want to do. Sure, this is what happens when you seem to have too much money and not enough friends telling you that you can do without it.
I really appreciate all of the fans and everyone that supports me with this. And I hope that, you know, I can be an inspiration to others. So
you are an inspiration, Oli. An inspiration on what not to do when trying to come out as anything. You cannot come out as another living person. That's freaky. That's freakier than Friday right now. Can you imagine if I looked at my friend and I was like, hey, I'm you now. And he's like, okay, you now, what the f are we gonna eat for dinner? Don't ever call me Leo, call me Brandon, Angelina Jolie, Terry Crews. I forgot all the names that I said. Okay, so that was Oli London being Korean. The top comments are, he literally needs 2 therapists, one for himself and one for his other therapist. People aren't bullying you, they're telling you the right things, bro. Yeah, they're not, Oli. They're trying to teach you the right things. And you seem to want to ignore that, because you're only listening to yourself. So how much can we really tell you? So the next video I wanted to look at was him after he had his final surgery. And he actually apologized to Dr. Full, because years ago, Dr. Full actually talked to this man and tried to talk some sense into him. And Oli seemed to want to listen. But then this happened.
Hey, Dr. Phil, so I've just completed my transition to look Korean, to look just like JIMIN.
Ah, yes. When I think about Korean people, that is the image that comes to my mind. Yeah, you don't at all look like a brain surgery victim, and also someone who got punched in the face by Mike Tyson after you called him Mike Tyson and then ran away.
You told me to love the real me, love the real Oli, and I did take your advice for like a year, but then I kind of just changed my mind.
This is basically like drug addicts. This is anyone who is addicted to something and cannot stop. Your friends sit you down and they're like, hey, this is what you need to do to get your life on track. And you're like, oh, okay. Oh, fuck you. And then just don't do it. This is what happened. He was like to Dr. Full. Dr. Full, of all people. He's got the shiniest bald head ever. You have to know there's wisdom there. And he's like, you've got to love yourself, or whatever he said. And Ollie's like, okay, and didn't do it. Well, if you're not going to listen to Dr. Full, who are you going to listen to? Dr. Dre? There's not many other doctors that are going to be available to talk to you at this point.
So please don't be mad at me, Dr. Phil, but I'm so happy to have transitioned from British to Korean. I'm now going to be identical to JIMIN, even more identical than I already was, so...
JIMIN would have to get into a car crash, survive that, get into another car crash, and then get hit by a plane in the face to look half as bad as that. Come on, man. I wanted to see what Dr. Full actually said to him, so I went back and found those videos so we can take a look at them and see if his advice was actually good and if Oli looked like he was even going to take that into consideration. So here's the Dr. Full footage.
My ultimate goal is to look like JIMIN, my idol from BTS. I've spent about $150,000 to perfect my image. His lips just look so luscious and kissable.
If you heard him there, he was like, oh, this dude lip was so kissable and I love him and he's so perfect, but I also want to look like him. It's like infatuation mixed with narcissism. That's a psychology course waiting to happen. If people could psychology this man, oh, they'd be rich. It's so narcissistic that you want to look like JIMIN, who you think is perfect, so other people can feel like that about you, but you also feel like that about him. Wow. Your plans are so convoluted, even Christopher Nolan is like, please tone it down.
I have my chin bone shaved. I've got titanium screws and brackets. My nose, I've actually had surgery 5 times. My cheeks, I have no feeling at all. So when I smile, it actually feels uncomfortable.
And you feel happy with that. You feel happy not feeling your face. The weekend. I can't feel my face when I'm with you, but I love it. Oli London, you should feel your face. If someone slaps you in the face, You shouldn't be like, where did that come from? You would know, because it feels painful. Ollie, get that feeling in your face back.
As a teenager, I really struggled with the way I looked. I used to have very, very bad acne. I had such a big nose.
Yeah, man. Everybody gets made fun of. I got made fun of for having dark skin of all things. Yes, even in New Zealand. Do you think I care at all about someone else who's so insecure about their lives that they have to find holes in your life? I'm happy with who I am. But you listen to them. Now you look like JIMIN's stunt double if his stunt was to jump face first into a volcano. I think the internet is more after you now than they ever would have been if you looked like that.
Plastic surgery can be a great thing because, you know, it can change your life.
Okay.
You can see Dr. Full, even before he started, he went back a little bit and he's like, okay, what are you, Korean? Well, what is wrong with you? Imagine if he just started with that.
You have to know that the somebody else that you're wanting to be, that's a manufactured, marketed image.
Dr. Full hit it on the head right there. You're looking at JIMIN or you're looking at Justin Bieber, or anybody who's like in the media and you're down here and you're like, I wish I could be them. The reason you can't is because it's not one person doing that. There's a whole team that works on branding that image. They don't just wake up looking like that. Doesn't mean that you're not beautiful. Okay, that's not what it means at all. You look great. Take it from me, Terry Korean Cruise, Saudi Arabia, Angelina Jolie, man. I think you look great. Unless you're ugly, then fuck you.
Wanting to be a clone or a replica of someone else, which is an insult to you.
You trying to clone yourself? That's kind of stupid. You don't think I wanted to clone myself? I've tried. My wife was screaming at me the other day. I went into the cloning machine. I was like, you take it. Turns out that wasn't a cloning machine. That was my fridge. And my son was like, why are you in the fridge, Dad? I'm like, I was trying to clone myself because your mother is screaming at me because I ate her beetroots. I live a hard life too. I'm Dr. Phil. My life isn't great. It's okay. It had nothing to do with anything. I just felt like it was necessary.
I'm happy. Like, if you look at the pictures of me and JIMIN, we're identical.
Yeah, if Stevie Wonder saw it, I don't know if you know what the word identical means. You couldn't be less identical. You don't look like him at all. You look like a Karen who drives a Prius, who parks next to someone and shouts at them because you have too much time on a Wednesday.
They think I'm JIMIN. I know I'm identical. Everyone calls me JIMIN. I'm happy.
Really?
You're looking at me as if I'm crazy.
I didn't say that, but
I didn't say it because I'm not allowed to, but if I could, I'd call you batshit chicken brain insane. That's what we say down in the South, where I seem to be from. My accent is a little bit misplaced right now, but I don't care because I'm Dr. Phil.
two things jump out at me. I think beneath it all, you're a pretty nice guy. I think you're really selling yourself short.
You know, I'm in agreement with Dr. Full. I don't have any malice towards Oli London. I don't want him to watch the video and get sad or anything. If you're watching this by some chance, Oli, I don't have nothing against you. I think you're a pretty decent person. I wish that you would just see beauty in yourself, like as a person, and your value as a person. Everybody has value to someone. Dr. Full has another point. You know, this guy should be a doctor. I don't think he is. I don't know what Dr. Full actually is. Someone told me he's not really a doctor. He just has a TV show, which makes it really scary if there's just a half-bald man with a southern accent giving people unqualified advice.
Everywhere you go, Oliver goes with you. And you ought to make peace with him.
That's why I love JIMIN and BTS, because they're so positive and inspiring. So whenever I see JIMIN, it just makes me happy.
If you replace the word JIMIN with crack, you have an addict. Dr. Full said something really insightful and positive. He's like, you know, love yourself. Well, I love crack. I love crack. It's so positive. It makes me feel good. Dr. Full, you are a bold man. So he clearly didn't listen to Dr. Full's advice to love yourself, and he got like a million other surgeries. And now we come to the present day, where he is now Oli London, the Korean man who also identifies as JIMIN from BTS.
Oli, welcome. It's lovely to see you this morning. Thank you for being here.
Annyeonghaseyo. Hi, guys.
Oh, wow, what a fluent Korean speaker. Even I know what that means, and I'm the furthest from Korean ever. I'm so bad at knowing Korean culture. I genuinely, this is 100% true story. My friend came back from Korea years ago, and I asked him, which Korea? I didn't know. Just by the way, since we're on this topic, of Oli London being a Korean man? You'd think that after $170,000 of surgeries, million surgeries on your face and everything, the one thing you could do is change your last name from London to Korea? Is that not a little better than London if you don't want to be associated with British culture?
So my love of Korea actually started about 9 years ago. I started having plastic surgery to have the Korean look, and I've never been happier.
So just listen to that last part. He said that he is the happiest he's ever been, and that should be a great thing. Except, throughout this video, he expresses how unhappy he is at every interval that he can, which is so funny unintentionally.
So I feel the only way of really comparing this is maybe someone that's transgender, and I mean no offense to the transgender community, this is just how I would explain it.
No, of course, how could this be offensive in any way? Person feeling that they're literally trapped in the wrong body and have the wrong parts and is living the wrong gender of life. This is the same thing as having a different ethnicity.
I feel at home there, I don't feel judged, I feel like Korean people accept me.
Why the fuck are you in Los Angeles then? Why aren't you in Korea, living it up with the Korean people? What are you doing in Los Angeles? Yeah, I love Korea, but I also love Venice Beach.
People, which I think it's fantastic people have opinions, but I feel like people are so quick to play the race card.
And this is probably the most interesting topic. I think I brought it up a little at the start. Him being Korean offends people. And on one hand, yeah, I actually don't like woke culture that much. I don't like people getting overly offended for others. On one hand, Oli is right. People might get a bit too attached to the situation and just start hurling comments at him when all he wants to do is live his best life. On the other hand, living his best life is somehow imitating someone and also taking a whole nationality. So you can see where my problems lie. I don't love this part and I really don't love this part. That's why I'm right over here. A Libya, which is what I identify as, by the way. My new pronouns are Libya, Libyan, and librarian. So if you don't like me, fight me. You can book an appointment. Librarian Leo out.
No, I haven't actually done anything wrong to offend Korea, and I feel like I'm one of the biggest ambassadors for Korea and for Korean people.
Yeah, North Korea, maybe.
Okay, now I need JIMIN's body, I need the K-pop star body, so it's kind of like it's never ending, so I get kind of temporary happiness, which is, I guess it's quite sad in a way, but...
Yeah, I'm kind of a lot sadder than I said at the start of the video because it wore off and my eyes don't look too good, and I want to have JIMIN's body. I want to take his body. This dude got sadder 5 minutes into the video. He started off as I'm the happiest I've ever been, and literally like a minute later he's like, well, I'm not that happy, honestly, I'm kind of sad. Just goes to show how fickle it is when you fixate on one aspect of your life and not everything else. If you focus on your mentality, everything else sort of protrudes and radiates out. I don't know, have you ever seen like a bald, fat, happy man just enjoying life in a park? You can't hate on him. It's like a force field. You can't roast him. As soon as you do this, it goes back at you. It's because the inside is happy, so the outside is happy too. Come on, Oli. You gotta know how to play the game.
I've recently had my eyes done. I've had a brow lift. I've had fat reduction here, liposuction, nipple correction.
Why does nipple correction make you more Korean?
Well, I guess that was just random.
Oli, I've got a question for you. What are you getting nips done for? What's the nips for? Is Korean nipples different? I don't know, my wife's also British. I don't know what Korean nips look like. Does they look like this, Oli? You got Korean nips, do you? Got nip. What's the nips got to do with it? I was like so interested in that. Like he said everything. He's like, I got titanium in my jaw, this, that. As soon as he said nips, the guy's like, nips, Oli. What is going on with the nips over there?
Well, I guess that was just random.
It's not even for anything. Oli was like, that's random. Who has random surgery? That's the most diabolical thing I've ever heard. Wake up and you're like, guess I'm gonna have surgery today. Surprise me. What? I come out of the doctor's house like, yeah, they put a dick on my head. I don't know. I told him to surprise me. I was surprised.
Your family members, what do they think?
You know, Holly, it's been really, really tough. I actually haven't spoken properly with my family since I had my surgery a few weeks ago.
So this dude started off legitimately saying he's the happiest he's ever been. He's not feeling too good. Now every day feels lonely and he doesn't have friends because they left him and his family doesn't talk to him. Surgery is literally ruining this dude's life and he's still doing it. If this isn't his drugs, I don't know what is. I'm saying someone should step in, get a hold of him and tell him that he's okay. He could be okay with himself. The more people are letting him do this and enabling him, the more he's gonna be like the most Korean person ever at the end of the day. JIMIN better actually watch out because this dude is a couple surgeries away from becoming Hitman and trying to literally take Jimin's body.
And you actually produce your own K-pop music as well, don't you?
It's just about happiness. I feel
His last song was a diss song.
Shalisa, you can please her, she'll never crack a smile. Priscilla, she Godzilla, her face is full of filler. She's like such a whack job. Stop hating on me, girl. You know, you make me ho.
Oli, if you're listening to me, please do a diss song to me, because then I'll do one back. But unfortunately, I don't do K-pop. I will rap you into submission. But yeah, no, I don't know how positive that song is.
Now, what I want to do, I want to focus my Korean language lessons on actually changing my accent, like Korean sound, like 안녕하세요, 사랑해요.
Okay, well, once you start doing the accent unironically, as Oli London, looking like that, it's over for you. If you're not already getting filet mignoned on the internet, you're going to be spit roasted. Shut up. So at the end of the day, Oli London is more Korean than the last time that we've looked at him. He's now developing an accent and also dissing people. So he's like the Tupac of Korea, which is not a sentence I thought I'd ever say in my life. But that's what Oli London has been up to recently. Basically, a white male from England who got infatuated with the culture so much in Korea that he decided that he wanted his life to be like that. And it's really sad at the root of it, because it means that you're not happy with your own life for some reason. And you want to live in this facade or enhanced reality so bad that you'll do anything to make that your reality. When in fact, what you should be doing is making your own life better. If you ask me, life's more about the journey than the destination. It's about how you get there. I try and enjoy the moment, because if you don't enjoy the moment, it'll pass you by and you'll realize you've lived so long in misery and you can't get that time back. I'm trying to just be happy with myself, and I hope, Oli London, I hope you could be happy with whatever situation you're in. I feel great. As soon as I sat on the couch, I got 10% smarter. That is the video. Thank you to every guy, girl, other, non-binary, Korean, JIMIN, every other country, whatever you identify as. Thank you so much for watching the video. I really appreciate it. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Peace and fluffs. Take it away.
You barking around too much. Your ugly dog looking ass.
Baby, like to scream and holler, cut that shit off.